Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rita. Today I wanted to look into my foundations and do a bit of a cleanup, a small declutter, see what I'm using, see what I don't like, and then cut down in just hopefully a few of them. So this is my vanity and my foundations live in this little, I guess, section. I'm going to do what I've been doing lately, that is pretty much splitting cruelty-free products and then the non-cruelty-free. I mentioned this in every declutter, but if this is your first video, I did switch to cruelty-free beauty exclusive, I want to say around 4 years. So there's still a lot of things in my collection that are not cruelty-free. So I've been trying to get rid of them, use them up, find new homes for things that are still not cruelty-free. So hopefully my collection will be only cruelty-free soon. But in the meantime, I'm not just gonna toss everything that is not. But anyway, today I'm going to split everything and then we'll come back and see what I can get rid of, and then a few thoughts on what I have and I do like that is of course cruelty free. So I'll be right back. We can start pulling everything out and then I can show everything. I've separated the foundations now in two groups. So all of this is cruelty free, and then these are the only remaining items that I have in my collection for base products that are not cruelty free. So it's very good. I thought it was gonna be different numbers. I thought I would still have a lot of non-cruelty free items, but I'm happy to report that it is not. I literally only have 5 foundations that are not cruelty free, and this that I would call like a primer, I guess. Number one thing that I'm gonna be getting rid of will be this. This is by L'Oreal. I haven't used it in a very long time, and if I ever have the need of this kind of product, which is mostly a, I don't know, like a darker base, a bronzy base, I could just get something from the drugstore. I think e.l.f. brought out a new one fairly recent as a dupe from the Drunk Elephant Bronzini drops, or whatever they're called. So I would buy either one of those. But in general, I don't really use a lot of these bronzy bases, so this is gonna go in the trash. It's very old. And then for the actual foundations, for sure I'm gonna be getting rid of this MAC one. As you can tell, my last declutter was 2 years ago, and I was trying to make a little note of on the foundations that I was iffy about. This one is gonna go this time. It doesn't look good on my skin, number one, and number two, it's very dark, and my shade, I guess, remains the same throughout the year because I wear sunscreen year round. So this one I'm also going to toss, and then I just have 4 remaining. I am also indecisive about this one, but it's one that I've been using pretty much on the daily to try to get rid of it. So I'm trying to use it every day just to use it up because the color match is actually decent, so I don't mind it. I'm not gonna talk good or bad about these foundations because again, they're not cruelty free and I don't wanna persuade anything into getting these brands. I've got here one that I'm around, I don't know, almost halfway through. I'm also gonna try to work through it. I'm going to think about this one. It's still fairly new, you can see. I mean, not new, I bought it a long time ago and I had 2 of them, a darker shade, and then I bought this one before I of course turned cruelty free. And this is the one that remained. I don't think I've touched it since that declutter. That's been like almost 2 years. I'm gonna keep it on the pile as a maybe, and I'm going to use it a few times and see how I like it. And then lastly, I've got this one. This is a Givenchy foundation that I didn't even make, but this was the foundation that I used on my wedding day. So for sentimental reasons, I don't think I'm ever gonna get rid of this until of course it's done, it's empty. I don't use it as much. I keep it for special occasions. So I've got only 4 remaining and 1 in the maybe pile, but the maybe pile is gonna remain with me right now until I use it a bit more and then see how I feel. So we're keeping 4 high-end and non-cruelty free. So now let's move on with this big pile. I do have a few non-foundations in this, which I think it's just this one, the Wonder Glow by Charlotte Tilbury and the Hollywood Flawless Filter. These I use them really as primers, but I keep them in here because I mostly use them as primer and also mixing them with foundations, but these are not foundations, of course. I love them. If I had to pick one, I would go for the Hollywood Flawless, but I love both of them. So I like having both in my collection, and I definitely see myself buying this one again. once I finish it. And you can see I'm getting there. But these are my go-to whenever I want a beautiful glowy base. Let's move on with the cruelty-free bases. I've got here foundations and skin tints. So just a mix of all the bases I own, and I want to split it in drugstore and then high-end. I'm gonna begin with the drugstore because it's the ones that I have the least of. Only a few of this. So first off, we've got Light Illusion by Flower Beauty. I haven't used this in a very long time, but I remember liking it a lot. I think I'm going to put it on the top or like the closest section of my foundation cubicle so I can remember to use it and then see how I feel. So keeping this one. One that I'm gonna be getting rid of is this Catrice. This is the True Skin foundation. It is way light for me. I don't know why I kept it if it was super light. I think because I got it at the actual grocery store, so I couldn't return it. So I just kept it, hoping I could make it work, but it's just way too light and it makes my face look very odd. So I don't like it. I think the foundation itself was okay, just I couldn't get past the color, but I didn't like it as much, or it wasn't as impactful that I would go back and try to get a different shade. So I'm just gonna toss it because I have no one to give this to and it's also getting pretty old. Another one that I'm going to be getting rid of is this one by CoverGirl. As you can see here, another little mark that I was trying to figure out if I liked it or not. I don't. At some point I think I liked it, but then I realized that this foundation, maybe because it's getting older, I don't know, or it's a skin tint, I think, Skin Milk. It just sits on my skin. And it gets really weird, almost looks like separated. I don't know, it emphasizes my pores. I don't like it. I really wanted to love this and I tried to use it up. I think I'm literally down to here, so it's not super wasteful, but I just don't like how it looks. I was using it just to be around my house, whenever I wasn't doing anything, but then I'm like, I still don't like how my face looks, so why am I forcing this? So I'm just gonna toss this in the trash. One that I do like, but same boat of not having the perfect shade. This is the Milani Glow. I got this one in the shade light to medium. I think if I use very little, it's okay. But if I try to use, I guess, a little more, it looks a little too dark. So it is a bit darker than I would like it to be. But I think the lighter one after this was way too light. Which I noticed this happens with Milani foundations. I have two here that I really like. Whoops. But same thing, one shade is too dark and then the lower one is too light. I kept this one, same thing as the Catrice because I bought it, I'm pretty sure at H-E-B. It's not bad, I just have to be very light-handed with this so I don't build it up as much because it gets really dark. But I'm gonna keep it and I'm gonna be using it as just same thing whenever I'm in my house and I'm not going anywhere. But it's a good one if you can find a good match and it's very glowy, which of course I love. And then we've got the Milani Conceal and Perfect. I first had this one in the shade Warm Beige, which is number 5. It's a little too dark. And then I purchased, this is almost done, so I did use it up. I think at this point I'm just going to get rid of it because, yeah, this is terrible and separated. And it's pretty much empty. So I pretty much used it up. I'm gonna put it in the trash. And then I have this one, which is relatively new-ish, number 3, Light Beige. I think this is also a bit light for my complexion. Maybe it's okay. I'm not sure. I'm gonna use it. This is a full coverage foundation. So I do like to mix these types of fuller coverage with something like this just to make it more glowy because I love my glowy bases. I'm gonna try to also put it next to this one so I remember to use them and see how I feel. But I do like this one. I just didn't love the shade. Now let's finish up with my high-end foundations, bases, which we do have a lot to go through. So I guess let's begin with this one because it was tossed over there. This is one of my favorites. You can clearly see how much I've used it and loved it. I do want to get a new one probably soon enough because I am running pretty low. This is the Tower 28. This is really an SPF, tinted SPF. I love it. I used it so much last year. I literally had to tell myself to put it down so I could use other products. But definitely will repurchase. I've got mine in the shade 35 Point Dune. Love it. Need to repurchase soon. Another one that I don't want to say replaced, but sort of replaced this one because I wanted to use other things, so I was forcing myself to put the Tower 28 down, is from Hourglass. This is their newer, I guess, skin tint. Yeah, it's called Hydrating Skin Tint. The Veil, it's really pretty. I don't even remember what shade I have. It's erased, but I love it. Also running pretty low. It's expensive. It's on the expensive side, but I've used it a lot. Like, I didn't notice that it was so low. It's running very, very low. I'm not gonna repurchase right away. I think for this, I'm gonna wait until the November holiday savings at Sephora, because I have this one by Lisa Eldridge, which is skin tint. So I don't need to run and repurchase this. Also pretty expensive, but I love it. Might as well just talk about this one of my newest and favorite skin tints. This is by Lisa Eldridge, the Seamless Skin Enhancing Tint. I love it. I do have a full review on this. I'm gonna be leaving it linked below. Whatever I do have a review on this, I'll leave it linked below. I think I also have one from the Hourglass and even from the Tower 28. But anyway, this I love. It's very natural, very, very low coverage. So don't expect this to be like a foundation type. It's going to be the lightest coverage between these two. This is super light, but I love it. I feel like your skin just looks perfect in a very natural, light glow. It's just beautiful. Makes your skin look very, very beautiful. Absolutely love it. One that I am on the fence about, I did use it a lot, but I think it was more of like trying to force myself to use it. You can see I have a little dot there. I don't remember if I like this. I think it looked a little heavy for me, even though this is supposed to be a hydrating foundation. I don't remember about this. I think I'm gonna put it on the maybe pile and use it these next few days. I'll probably use it today. I haven't done my makeup yet. I'm gonna use it today and see how I feel. Since this was released a few years ago, she released a new skin tint, I'm pretty sure. So I wanna try that one and see how I feel. But this one I honestly don't remember. I don't think it was the best, hence the little dot there. But I'm gonna keep it for now and figure out if I can make it work or if I should probably declutter it in the next declutter that I go for. Okay, same packaging. This is one of my favorites. Same packaging as like little tubes. This is one of my favorite foundations of all times, and I also will need to repurchase sooner than later. This is the Beautiful Skin Foundation by Charlotte Tilbury. I do own 3 foundations from her. Might as well mention them right now. This is my favorite. I don't know, I say that, but I really love the Light Wonder. Light Wonder is super glowy, like glowy to the max. I have used it to here, so I still have a lot of it to go, but I love it. Between this was the first one that I got, and then the first one she released. Beautiful, beautiful foundation, very glowy. This is straight up glowy. I would say comparable to, where is it? I don't know, I have one from Becca that I don't know where it went. Oh, right here, oh my goodness. Becca, it's another foundation that I really love, and this is, I'm keeping. I don't think they even make this anymore, it's very old. It's a very luminous foundation. So I would think the Light Wonder is comparable to this Becca in how luminous and glowy they are, which if you like luminous foundations, definitely consider this one. This doesn't exist anymore, so don't worry about it. But I love it. I'm gonna keep it, of course. But this is beautiful. If you are maybe just prefer a more natural looking foundation, go for this one. Beautiful Skin, the name says it all. Mine is getting a little old and it's sort of separating, so every time I use it I have to really shake it around, but I love it and definitely see myself repurchasing this one as well. So anyway, keeping both. And then the last one from Charlotte Tilbury, you can see I have barely used it. I love it too, but this is a very full coverage foundation. So whenever I do use it, I use very little and I don't use as much anymore matte full coverage foundations. So just for that reason is that this one doesn't get as loved. But if you prefer more on the matte foundations and that are full coverage, definitely look into this one. I don't think the shade range in this one is as good as the Beautiful Skin, but it's still pretty decent. So yeah, those are my 3 Charlotte Tilbury foundations. I think I have a video where I talk about this, comparing these two. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'll leave it linked below. It's been a while. but it's gonna be linked below. We're getting down to the last few foundations, and I do have one that I'm going to get rid of. This is by Dermablend. This is the Cover Cream. I'm getting rid of it because it dried up. I used to really like this. It is very much on the full coverage. This is more for people, I don't know, like myself, who have vitiligo and want to cover to give your skin a uniform look. And this you can use through your entire body. So this is going to also be good if you want to cover your hands or your skin, whatever. I bought it just, out of curiosity. I didn't use it as much because it's pretty heavy. And the only thing that I cover on my vitiligo, it's my face. So I did use it and I love the shade. It was a perfect match for me, but it dried up. I don't know, I maybe considered repurchasing, but I don't feel like I have the need for this kind of product anymore, because I do have other concealers that I use and I love. So yeah, getting rid of this because it's dried. Another that's more on that sort of like cream product by KVD. This is the Good Apple foundation. This went viral on TikTok whenever it was released. And these super young girls were using this very thick full coverage foundation. I never understood why. I really like it. I don't use it as much because, again, it's very full coverage and more on the heavier side, but it doesn't feel too heavy. So it's pretty good if you are someone who enjoys full coverage foundations. I think this one is a good one. And also I love that it comes in a compact. It's very easy to apply. It blends very nicely. And it is a very, very good match for me. So whenever there are some days that concealer just doesn't cut it for me, I go for this one and I really love it. Speaking of foundations that are easy to use on the go, I've got this one by Merit. This one is such a good one. I love the compact that it comes in because it's so easy to travel, or if you do your makeup on the go, maybe if you take the public transport. This is in the shade Sand. This is a Perfecting Complexion stick. Really lovely. And since I got mine, they released in a different packaging where you do get more product. It's pricey, but I think it's worth it. I really do like it. Let's move on with another one that's also easy to travel with. This is by Marc Jacobs, which the brand does not exist anymore. This is the Extra Shot Foundation. I think this was considered a foundation concealer. I got mine in the shade Medium. I do like it. I wouldn't use it as a concealer because I do use concealers that are full coverage. To me, this is just a foundation, and it does come with this sort of concealer applicator, which I do like it. It was a good one. I haven't used it as much because I do rotate around other foundations, but it was a good one. I think I need to start using it more. I don't remember much about it, but I just remember I liked it. So keeping it, of course. And then this is another one that I'm unsure about. There's a little dot. I think this is full coverage. Yeah, Luminous, oh, never mind. Luminous Matte, what does that even mean? I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember how I feel about this foundation by Huda Beauty. The only thing I remember is it might be a little too dark. I need to use it up. As you can tell, I've been literally grabbing the same bases for a very long time. These have been my go-to for the past 2 years. So I've neglected a lot of these other foundations. But in general, I don't go for that more matte full coverage foundations. So a lot of these ones that I haven't used as much is because they're more on the full coverage. But I want to use this one at least a few times to see how I feel. If I don't like it, then I'll be getting rid of it because clearly I had already marked it as a maybe and I didn't use it. So we'll keep it for now. This one by Rose Inc. This is a luminous tinted serum. I really do like it. I do have a first impressions in this. It feels very wet whenever you apply it, but it transforms into a very pretty luminous skin tint. Just like the word says it does bring that very luminosity to your face. And the only thing is that, whoops, this might be a little dark for my complexion. I got it in the shade, I guess 60. So if I use too much, just like the Glow one from Milani, it can get a little dark. So I just have to use one base or one coat of the skin tint and then call it a day, because if I try to build up, it looks too dark. But I do like it and I'm gonna keep it. All of this I'm keeping, so we're just going over them real quick. This one by Makeup by Mario. This is the Surreal Skin Foundation. I really do like this one, but same thing, shade wasn't perfect. It's a little lighter for my complexion, but I can make it work if I add bronzer and, you know, just warm up my face. So it's not terrible, but I don't grab it as much because it's the extra step of trying to make the shade perfect. In these instances is where I would like to have something like the Bronzini, or however you call them, drops by Drunk Elephant. I think I might purchase one of those dupes from e.l.f. to mix it with this type of foundation. But the majority of my foundations that are not a good shade match is because they're too dark. This is the only one that I have that is too light for my complexion. You can actually see how light it is. Oops, there we go. But it's not too bad. I can still make it work, and I do like the foundation itself. Let's finish up with the last two. So this is the foundation by Lisa Eldridge. I love the packaging, but at the same time I hate it because you can't really put it anywhere. Like, it doesn't stand on its own. It has to be laying down. It's like a little egg. This is the Seamless Skin. It is a good foundation. It's full coverage, but if I had to pick and tell you buy this one or this one, I would just recommend you stick to the skin tint. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful base on pretty much anyone. If you like, of course, low coverage. If you like the full coverage, go for this one. It's preference. But personally, I prefer the skin tint, but I do really like this one. I haven't used it as much. Going back to, I don't use as much full coverage foundations anymore. But yeah, really pretty one. I am in the number 11 on the foundation. And on the skin tint, I picked T7. For the last one, we have the Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow. I really love this foundation. If I was wearing any type of foundation in the past year, was either this one or the Beautiful Skin, but this is no surprise. But this really surprised me. I really like it. It gives a beautiful luminous look to your face, and it's full coverage. I think it's like a medium buildable foundation. It just looks very pretty on the skin. So whenever I do want an actual foundation, I stick to this one. I think this one and this one came out around the same time, and I realized whenever I bought them and I was trying them, how much this one stood out comparing it to this one. Not that they're supposed to be similar, or maybe they are, because I think both of these are supposed to be medium coverage with a very luminous finish, but this one stands out so much. If I had to pick my favorite foundation from the bunch, not including the one from Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin or Light Wonder, it would be this one. Really, really love it. I just counted the entire collection and I have 28 foundations. Well, had 28 because I'm getting rid of 5 of them, which is not a lot, but it brings the number down to 23, which I definitely want to work on that number to get. I don't want to have more than 10 to 15 foundations at a time. A few of these are going to be used up very soon, including the Tower 28, and I have yet to check how I feel about this one, and then the one from Fenty, which I don't know where it went. So it's going to, the numbers are gonna go down. Not significantly, but we're getting there. Ideally, I would have no more than 15. 10 to 15, I think it's a very good number of foundations to have. That way, I don't neglect any of them and I keep what I really do enjoy. So I'm going to put a few of them at the top of my list so I can either use them up or see how I feel about them. And then I guess I'll have to check back in a few months, maybe 6 to 8 months, and see what we downsized. So, foundations are back in their spots, and I do have a few of them at the very front that I want to use up, including the Dior and the Flower Beauty. I haven't used the Flower Beauty in a long time, so I don't want it to go bad. So these two are going to be my main ones to use up. And then next to it, we've got the Huda Beauty, so I can figure out if I like the foundation or I don't remember. Same thing with the Fenty. I want to make sure that I like it. If not, I'll toss them, especially these two because they already were in the maybe piles from my last declutter. So these are pretty much on the top of my list to figure out if I like or not. Then I've got here the Milani. It's a full coverage, so I want to see how I can make it work better for me. So I'm also keeping it relatively close by. And then the rest, I know where they're at, and whenever I need something, everything, although it doesn't seem like it is, it's more visible to me. So I want to make this much visible in the future. That's why I want to use up a few of them and then maybe toss some of them if I don't end up liking. But anyway, this video is gonna be very long. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, like always, please give it a big thumbs up. I'll see you on the next one. Bye!